What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Better Stretching the Class. I am your instructor, Joe, and we are going to run through something I like to call the lower back relieving routine. So maybe you've been sitting down a lot recently, or maybe you did something in your workout a couple days ago and your lower back is just feeling a little tense and doesn't feel the greatest. This routine will be perfect for you. If you have really bad low back pain and you're worried about it, make sure you see a medical professional first. But if you don't think it's too big of a deal, you just need to relax and get a little bit of relief, I think this would be perfect. Also, don't forget to pick up my book. It's right over here, Better Stretching the Book, available at all retailers. I'll put the link down in the comments below. So if you want to support me, go pick up a copy. But let's get it started. What we're going to do is a little bit of a self-massage technique using like foam rollers. We can use the good old trusty tennis ball, whatever you have around. I like to start with this. It's optional, but I think it feels good sometimes. So let's get it started. I'll use the foam roller, and I like to go into my hips and glutes and then into my lower back just a little bit. So let's start off with the hips and glutes, and I like to cross one leg over, whoa, and then from here just going up and down, and I'm a little sore. Go down to your butt bone, go right into the side of the hip, and we don't have to spend too long here. But I get a little bit of pain relief and I get a little bit more range of motion during my stretches. So I like to start off with this. So follow along at home if you want to. I'm not exactly timing anything. I'm almost just going by feel, but we'll do about 30 seconds here on each side. Feels pretty good. Switch it up. Let's cross the leg over. What am I doing? All right, find those spots. Nice little tight and tender spots. And again, you can use something like a ball, like a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, and that's just a little bit more direct pressure, which is pretty much the only difference. Let's finish up, and then we'll go into that low back. All right, perfect. Now I'm just gonna run through my low back, and I actually like to use that tennis ball. And there's a little controversy here. Some people don't like to work on these lower back muscles. You know what? It feels pretty good for me and it enhances my routine a little bit later on. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but for me, I like to do it a little bit. It feels really good for me. Oh. So let's put that right on the side of that low back and just rock back and forth and kind of find that spot that feels good. And for me, it's there, so I'm just gonna hang out here. And for me, this is like heaven. It hurts so good. But again, I won't spend too much time, and I'm using a tennis ball, so it's pretty soft. So I found a nice good spot here. That feels awesome. Let's switch sides. And let's find that spot right on that low back. It's probably gonna be different for everyone, and found it right there. Kind of just hang out here, breathe a little bit, maybe rock back and forth, a little bit of a massage. And cool, not too bad, not too much time there. And now let's get into the stretches. And what I like to start off is are some pelvic tilts. And that's just to get the hips moving back and forth a little bit. Whenever we have low back pain, usually when we bend over, it might hurt, or if we lean back or arch back, it's going to hurt. So I like to just work on those hips to go into those positions slowly, and it's nice and gentle. So we'll start off with some pelvic tilts on our back. So knees bent, and then what we're going to do is arch the low back, just like this, and then flatten the low back, just like that. So arch, and then flatten. So we're going into an anterior pelvic tilt here, creating that low back arch. I don't know if you can see that. So I can actually put my hand underneath my low back, and then we're going to flatten it and posteriorly tilt our pelvis. Now I can't get my hand underneath my low back. And let's run through 10 reps. Control it, not too fast, not too slow, and don't go too extreme. We're just trying to ease into it. We're just trying to get a little bit of motion in that low back because it's, it's a little flared up and it's not feeling the greatest. So here, we'll go into a arch here. That's 1. Good, 2. Yeah, 3. 4. 5. Might even feel your abs kicking in here a little bit too. Good, 6. 7. Good, 8. Flatten, then arch. 9. And 10. So that's our first move, some pelvic tilts laying on our back. Now we're gonna go into a cat-cow. So essentially it's that same movement, but now we're gonna be on all fours. And instead of just working the lower body and the pelvis, we're gonna get into our mid-back as well. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And this is a pelvic tilt, AKA cat-cow. Just like this, we're gonna round. And then we're going to drop our chest down and arch our low back. So if you concentrate on that pelvis, you can see as we round, we're going into that pelvic tilt, which is flattening the low back like we were in our previous exercise. And then we are arching, which is our arching our low back, our anterior tilt. So we'll run through about 10 reps here. And I want you to concentrate in your brain and in your body, concentrating on really moving that low back. So even though we're moving our upper body, let's really concentrate on tucking under and then arching back in our low back. Again, kind of the name of the game is getting some motion in there without making your low back hurt too much. So here we go. Start off with arching or rounding. Good. 1. Good, 2. Good, 3. In a typical cat-cow, usually I'll look all the way up, but since we're concentrating our low back, that's 4. Don't have to worry about it too much here. Good, 5. Good, 6. Good, 7. 8, 9, and 10. So cat-cow's 10 reps, moving the whole spine, moving the pelvis, feeling pretty good already. And now I like to work into the hips just a little bit. Usually when you have low back pain or pain in general, it's usually not exactly the cause is not directly right in that area. It might be coming around that area. So I always like to attack the hips too. So we can pick any exercise. Let's go with the pigeon pose. I always love the pigeon pose. Let's go this way so that plant's not in my way. Push up position, drive one knee up, cross that leg over, and then just hang out in that position here. You can come down onto your forearms. You can stay up here. Also, the more parallel the shin is to your shoulders, the more intense it's going to be. I always like to go about 45 degrees. And just let's hang out in this position. And instead of time, let's go by breaths. This might be a little bit new to you. And if you don't have like a timer or anything, this is great because then you can just concentrate on breathing and just do maybe 10 breaths, just like what we're gonna do here. So let's go into our position. Feeling a little tight, so I'm just gonna hang out in this position so it's not too uncomfortable. And now I'm gonna take some big breaths in. Exhale, and that's 1. That's like essentially 1 rep. And we're gonna do 10 breaths and then we'll switch sides. We'll say that's 1. Good, 2. I like to breathe a little bit more in the belly, but I'm not too crazy and saying you have to go just by your belly breath. But if you can breathe a little bit more through your belly, that would be great. Lost count there. Good, 4. Good, 5. Good, 6. Good, 7. Good, 8. 9. Good, let's switch sides. So again, I like to breathe and try to fill up my belly a little bit. If I breathe through my chest, I'm okay with that too. Just concentrate on breathing and not holding your breath. For me, that's a little bit more important. Is just make sure you're not clenching and holding your breath and going a little crazy there. Just really try to relax into it. And now let's do 10 breaths here. Good, 1. Good, 2. Good, 3. 4. Good, 5. Good, 6. 7. Good, 8. 9. And 10. 10 reps or 10 breaths on pigeon pose. And now let's finish up the mobility exercise and stretches with a hip flexor stretch to a hamstring stretch. And this is what it looks like. We're gonna be in this position, half kneeling, one knee on the ground, one leg out in front. And a hip flexor stretch is just like this. I'm gonna raise my arms overhead and just arch back just a little bit. And then we're going to shift our hips back. I like to keep my foot planted for this one. And then kind of fold over this front leg, working the hamstring. And not only are we working our hip flexors in that first part and our hamstrings in that second part, we're getting a little bit of movement in our low back, right? So when we're going this way, we're arching back just a little bit. And then when we shift our hips back, we're bending over just a little bit. So now we're just adding a little less support in our bends, and we can start getting that low back to move. And hopefully by doing this and progressing this movement, our low back won't hurt as bad. So let's run through this. Let's just do 5 reps, but let's control it. Good, so arm comes up, arch back just a little bit, and then shift back, fold over. That feels awesome. Good, that's 1. Good, 2. Whoa. Good, 3. Good, 4. And 5. Let's switch sides. Good, 1. Good, 2. Good, 3. Good, 4. And 5. So 5 reps on each side of that hip flexor to hamstring stretch. And let's call that a day for the exercises, the stretches and mobility exercises. But I always like to finish up with some sort of strengthener. And let's go into a side plank. We're gonna be strengthening up the side of the body, including that low back muscle on the side. And also works our hips too. So it's good big bang for your buck. I'll show you a couple modifications. Let's start off with kind of one of the easier ones where both legs are bent, and then we actually keep the knees on the ground, prop up, and then push your hips forward. When we're doing this, make sure we're not arching from our low back. So I like to squeeze the butt. That will give us a little bit more of that flatter back. So squeeze the butt here, squeeze, and then push the hips forward. And now we're getting some good work in our hip on this side, kind of that glute muscle, hip muscle. And then again, right into the side of the abs. You also get some good shoulder work there too. If that's too easy, you can bring the legs out, kind of that standard If you want to really kick it up a notch, you can kind of bring this leg up. You can also do it in this position too. But I'm just going to hang out here because I'm not trying to overwork my lower back because it's a little tight, right? It's a little bit tense, but let's do the breaths there too. So 10 breaths because we don't have a timer. And you can almost go at your own pace too. So again, knees bent, push the hips forward, just like that. And then 10 breaths. Good 1. Good 2. Good 3. Good 4. Good 5. Good 6. 7. Good 8. 9. Last one. And 10. Ooh. I can feel it working, but it feels good. Also, if your shoulder gets a little tired, I've been crushing these home workouts during self-isolation. My shoulder was a little tired, it was burning a little bit. We can always break it up. So you can do 5 breaths, take a little break, give that shoulder a rest. You can go to the other side if you want to, and then go back to that other side and finish up your reps. Okay, let's finish it up here. Both knees down, prop up, hips forward. Here we go, 10 breaths. Make sure you don't sag. Good 2. Good 3. Good 4. Good 5. Good 6. 7. Good 8. 9. And 10. So 10 breaths on each side of that side plank. And that's it. That's a low back relieving routine. So hopefully that gets your lower back feeling a little bit better. We did a little bit of that self-massage using the foam roller, using the tennis ball, make that area feel a lot better right off the start, going into our stretches, getting that hip to move. So our low back starts to move and get that gentle motion getting in there. So it feels a lot better. And then we finished up with that strengthener to make everything that's the glue that keeps everything together. So hopefully you guys like this video. And if you do like it, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.